Hello everyone, this is Dr. K. Jagannaki, Professor in MBA Department, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, Hyderabad. So today I would like to discuss with you about balance sheet. So in previous sessions, we have seen how to prepare trading account with the help of that, whether the company have gross profit or gross loss. And the next one is profit and loss account, which is prepared on the basis of trading account. So with the help of this profit and loss account, the company may assess what is their net profit or net loss, and based on profit and loss account, the next account, that is balance sheet, is prepared. So after going through this particular topic, the learner will be able to understand the meaning of balance sheet, importance of balance sheet, what are the limitations of balance sheet, specimen of balance sheet, preparation of final accounts. So let us start with the meaning of balance sheet. A balance sheet is a statement prepared with a view to measure the financial position of a business on a certain fixed date. The financial position of a concern, which is indicated by its assets on a given date and its liabilities on that date. So excess of assets over liability represents the capital and is indicative of the financial soundness of a company. So a balance sheet is also described as a statement showing the sources and application of capital. It is a statement and not an account, and prepared from real and personal accounts. Sources or liabilities are shown on the left hand side of the balance sheet, and applications of funds, assets, are shown on the right hand side of the balance sheet. Why balance sheet is important to the companies? So information that balance sheet convey to outsiders are as follows. The nature and value of assets. So just by preparing the balance sheet, one can understand what type of assets are there in the organization. What will be the value of the assets? It shows the nature and extent of liabilities. So like assets, we can also be able to assess the liabilities. It shows the owner's equity. See, assets minus liabilities equal to capital. So it tells about the credit worthiness and solvency of the firm. It reflects the liquidity of a firm, and also it reveals other information that is necessary to changes in economic reserves and other kinds of obligations in the business. Though financial statements are relevant and useful for the concern, still they do not present a final picture of the concern. The utility of these statements is dependent upon a number of factors, like it includes the analysis and interpretation of various statements that should be analyzed very carefully, otherwise misleading conclusions may be drawn. Coming to the limitations of balance sheet, the first one is only interim reports. So balance sheets do not give a final picture of the concern. The data given in the statements is only approximates. The actual position can only be determined when the business is sold or liquidated. So the statements have to be prepared at different accounting periods, generally 1 year, during the lifetime of the concern. Whereas the cost and incomes be apportioned to different periods with a view to determine profits, etc. The allocation of expenses and incomes will depend upon the personal judgment of the account. The existence of contingent assets and liabilities also makes the statements imprecise. So financial statements do not give the final picture and they are not at the most interim reports. Then second limitation is do not give exact position. So as they're expressed in terms of monetary values, they appear to give final and accurate position. But value of fixed assets in balance sheet neither represents the value for which fixed assets can be sold nor the amount which will be required to replace these assets. So it is very difficult to identify the appropriate asset in the balance sheet. The balance sheet is prepared on the presumption of a going concern. The concern is expected to continue in the future, so fixed assets are shown at cost less accumulated depreciation. There are certain assets in the balance sheet such as preliminary expenses, goodwill, and discount on issue of shares which will realize nothing at the time of liquidation, though they are shown in the balance sheet. And third is historical cost. The financial statements are prepared on the basis of historical cost or original cost. So the value of assets decreases with the passage of time. Current price changes are not taken into account. So only we used to consider the historical or past values. We never focus on the current price changes. So the statements are not prepared keeping in view the present economic conditions. So balance sheet loses the significance of being an index of current economic realities. And similarly, the profitability shown by the income statement may not represent the earning capacity of the concern. The increase in profits may be due to an increase in prices or due to some abnormal causes and not due to increase in efficiency. So the conclusion drawn from financial statements may not give a fair picture of the concern. And fourth one is impact of non-monetary factors ignored. There are certain factors which have a bearing on financial position and operating results of the business, but they do not become a part of these statements because they cannot be measured in monetary terms. So in case of financial accounts, only the activities or the transactions that are related to money that only can be recorded in the books of accounts. So such factors may include reputation of the management, credit worthiness of the concern, sources and commitments for purchases and sales, cooperation of the employees, etc. They may not be included in the balance sheet. The financial statements only show the position of the financial accounting for business and not the financial position. The next one is no precision. The precision of financial statements data is not possible because the statements deal with matters which cannot be precisely stated. The data are recorded by conventional procedures followed over the year. Various conventions, postulates, personal judgments, etc. used for developing the data. So as a result, we cannot get accurate and reliable information from the balance sheet. Then coming to the specimen of the balance sheet. So name of the entity we should specify and balance sheet on 31st March so and so year. Then it can be divided into two parts. On left hand side we have to write all the liabilities and right hand side assets. So even in case of liabilities also we should categorize as current liabilities and non-current liabilities. So under current liabilities we'll have trade creditors, bills payable, outstanding expenses, advance or unearned incomes, short-term loans. Whereas coming to non-current liabilities, long-term loans, debentures that comes under non-current liabilities. Then for that we also consider capital. For that add net profit, interest on capital. From that subtract drawings, then we'll get net loss on the left side of the balance sheet. Whereas coming to right side, we used to specify all the assets, current and fixed assets. So coming to the current assets, under this category, we used to consider cash in hand, cash at bank, inventories, bills payable, sundry debtors, prepaid expenses, accrued expenses. These are all considered as current assets. And coming to fixed or non-current assets. So fixed means immovable property, right? Which cannot be easily liquidated. So that type of assets are known as fixed assets. So which includes building, land, plant and machinery, furniture and fixtures, goodwill, etc. So this is the pro forma of balance sheet. So let us illustrate this with the help of this following example. So from the following particulars taken out from the books of Abdul Hassan and Company, you are required to prepare trading and profit and loss account, also balance sheet as at December 31st, 2010. So these data along with some kind of adjustment furnished here, sundry debtors, account payable, cash in hand, furniture, motor car, purchases, sales return, then salaries, opening stock, miss, and neck, motor car expenses, equipment, and also insurance premium which paid on 110 2019, cash at bank, machinery, wages, general expenses, carrier inward, carriers outward, then owner equity, transportation, drawings, rent and taxes. So along with this information, they have some adjustments. Closing stock 35,000, provision for doubtful debts at 5% of sundry debtors, depreciation, furniture and machinery by 10%, commission of rupees 3,600 has been earned but not received till the closing of accounts. So final accounts, let us start with trading and profit and loss account. So just by preparing trading account, we can able to find out the gross profit or gross loss of the company. So Abdul Hassan and Co. trading account for the year ended 31st December. So in the particulars column, opening stock, purchases, wages, carriage inward, transportation, and then if you add up all these things and you'll get 1,35,930 as gross profit. This is carried on. So on the right hand side, we know the sales returns that should be subtracted from sales. Then we'll also add up closing stock. Then your total is 3,24,400. The difference between this total minus total of this is our gross profit. Then based on the trading account, next we have to prepare profit and loss account. So if you take the profit and loss account, on left hand side, mention all the expenses and right hand side, all the incomes. So left hand side, the expenses like salaries, motor car expenses, insurance, premium, prepaid insurance, general expenses, then cash outward, rent and taxes, then other provision for doubtful debts, depreciation expense on furniture, depreciation expense on machinery. So everything we have to mention on the right side of our profit and loss account. And on the left hand side, right hand side, we just take down the gross profit brought down. So from trading account, whatever profit we generated as gross profit, that should be mentioned on right hand side of your profit and loss account. Then for that, we have to add commission, then get the total 1,00,000 39,530. The difference between this total amount minus this one, we will get net profit. That is 1,13,650. The next statement is based on profit and loss account. We have to prepare balance sheet. So balance sheet, it is divided into two parts. Left hand side liabilities, right hand side assets. So if you categorize like that, first initially you have to specify equity, which is nothing but the capital, owner's equity. So owner's equity is 20,000. From that we have to subtract drawings 8,000. Then we'll get profit brought down from profit and loss account. That is 1,13,650. So total amount is 1,25,650. The next, current liabilities. So under which we have only one account payable. The amount is 22,000. Then long term liability. If anything is there, you need to include. Otherwise, just add up these things. Then your total assets, liabilities are 1,47,650. But coming to the assets, so we used to categorize into two types, current and fixed assets. So here we have talking about fixed and long term. So under fixed assets, we have given furniture 3,500 and depreciation expenses, that is 350 because it is 10% on that. Motor car, machinery, that is 24,000. Again, depreciation on equipment, 10% of that, 2,400. So if you simplify this, then you get these values. Then next, we discuss about current assets, right? Under which we have cash in hand, cash at bank, then provision for bad debts, stock, commission received, prepaid insurance. So if we add up all these things, then our total is 1,47,650. That's how we used to assess the amount of assets and amount of liabilities with the help of balance sheet. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.